You are listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am that jerk, said jerk, a big jerk. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's well. Yeah, so I I don't know. So it appears that the Charlie Kirk incident is more or less of a conspiracy as far as government and all that kind of stuff, shady, you know, MK Ultra stuff, and more just mental retardation. But you never know. But my my last episode, it was just kind of a what if kind of thing. I was just thinking about it, but it actually, man, it got like for me, a lot of interaction. I'm a speck on the. I'm nothing, dude. I have, yes, I have some people that subscribe, very small amount, barely have any interaction, and that's fine. That's what I would rather. I would just rather. I like when people have like legitimate comments, which I got actually some on this last one. But when people are just like, they're stupid, or they're selling something, it's kind of annoying. But that's kind of, but I'm grateful. It's the last that last one though got me like a few more subscribers here and there on different platforms, and I never really focused much on YouTube just because YouTube has so many rules and everything. So I was just like my podcast is connected directly, so it uploads, but it's not a video. And then sometimes whenever I would do a video on something that was just pop culture or something not so political, I would upload those. But the last few ones I've done, I've uploaded, and they've it's getting some views. I mean, again, nothing to celebrate, but so I'll stick with. I guess I'll just continue with YouTube. And if they were like, "Oh, we can strike," then whatever. I don't. It's not like it's my. It's not my income. Like some people have to really worry about that, and I get it, but I don't. So I don't care. But so yeah, so that's going on. But I didn't kind of wanted to talk about something other than politics and assassinations and conspiracies and all that kind of stuff. Creed, the band Creed. Is anybody a fan of Creed? I know they're back together now for like a year or so or something, and they're like killing it on tour, I guess. I was never a fan, you know. I am kind of a gatekeepery kind of music enthusiast, so it's like, you find a band at the beginning and you like, oh man, yeah, you become a fan, and then when you see other bands that kind of seem like they're pulling from that band, you're like, they suck, man. So, I grew up listening to Pearl Jam, and so Eddie Vedder's voice brought on a bunch of people doing that baritone, I guess, or I don't know. And so it was, you had Stone Temple Pilots, but Scott Weiland had his own complete different voice, really though too. But they got some flack for it, and I kind of was the same way. But what's funny is like Pearl Jam is Green River, or what were they called? Yeah, Green River, right? I think is what they're called. No, Green River. Yeah, back in the day, but no, they were Mother Love Bone. Duh. So they were Mother Love Bone, and their singer died, and three, two, no, I think two. Yeah, so the bassist and the guitarist. So a lot of people from Mother Love Bone went and created Pearl Jam, very similar music but different singer. So like my sister, who's a little older, she was a Mother Love Bone fan, and she didn't like Pearl Jam. But so I grew up on the '90s grunge and everything, so I liked the Pearl Jam. So when Creed came out, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't care. And but then you hear them all the time and this and that, and then there was a point where the sacrifice, my sacrifice, I was like, that's a pretty good song. I want to say somebody sat me down like in a car and like, dude, just listen to this song, and it was like just blaring. I don't know if I was under the influence of anything at the time. I don't think so, but And when I mean influence, just like marijuana. I was pretty, I never got into anything serious. Some mushrooms. I tried acid once. That's it. I got some stories on those though if you want to hear them. I don't know. I don't really like talking about it really. But I mean, if you guys want to hear the stories, not like I have a bunch of them, but I have a couple. I think I might have talked about it once. Maybe the first time. Anyway, so and I remember just sitting there and then like hearing and it's a good band, you know what I mean? The music is tight. It's just and it was, I don't know. It was the singer mainly because I just kind of felt like he was trying to sound like Eddie Vedder and he seemed kind of cocky. Plus, they were just really popular and it was just, man, you'd hear them all the time. So I hate it every time I turn on the radio and there's, you know, some of their other songs. I can't think of what they are. So I just never was like, never. And then I know they broke up and then Alter Bridge became a thing. I never really listened to them. To me, it seemed like it was like, girl rock kind of pop, you know what I mean? Because that's the singles that you hear. But they're actually really heavy, And I am, struggling with not with my faith, but little things to do with it, like music, And so much of what I grew up on is very anti Christian, Pearl Jam, for example. Grew up loving Pearl Jam, loved Pearl Jam. I got a little Pearl Jam tattoo on my music arm, but I can't listen to them anymore. I haven't even listened to their last album or last two, or I don't know. But when I do hear even like the old stuff that I like, I just hear, and I can be wrong, but I hear so much anti-Christian stuff, and I can't listen to this. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. And so them, Rage Against the Machine, yeah, I kind of go. I don't know. I did listen to them at the gym the other day. Well, the other day was probably like a month ago or something, but and it's fun. I grew up on it and everything, but it's just a lot of the things that his messaging I don't agree with now. I mean, a lot of it I do still, but the thing is like, they're very anti-establishment government, but yet now they're straight up liberal and they're supporting. It's like, what the crap? You guys used to just hate government flat out. Now you love the liberals and Democrats and stuff. So I have a hard time listening to it. I can occasionally, just not on a regular basis. So it's like, and then music that I grew up on and I do hear like a Christian kind of theme. Maybe it's not even, on purpose, but I just kind of, that's what I hear. And I'm just like, oh man, yeah, that's nice, But so with Creed, I know people thought they were like a Christian band at first, I guess, because a lot of some of the lyrics and the names of the song, My Sacrifice, and there's a couple of them which I kind of get because I think the singer Scott Stapp, right? Scott Stapp, I think so. I think he grew up, as a Christian. I think he is a Christian. I don't know if he's Catholic or not, but that was kind of a thing. And, back then I was like, yeah, it's a Christian band. I was just like, same kind of whatever. But now it's like, man, when I hear, so I started, I'm on this journey because of my faith. I'm listening to things that I used to love and finding out I don't like, it's not, I don't know, it doesn't work. So always listening to some other stuff. I'm listening to like some Christian metal bands. There was one that it's kind of cool, I guess. But maybe it's because I'm getting a little older, like the real heavy stuff. I don't know. I can listen to Metallica, but anyway. So I started kind of dabbling with Alter Bridge, and it's kind of cool. I like it. The singer, I have no idea what his name is. I don't hate it or nothing, but I don't know. I think it's just something that's going to have to grow on me. It's kind of like Chris Cornell. I never was into Soundgarden when I was growing up during that grunge era. It was, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, a lot of the other ones. I didn't hate Soundgarden, but I was just like, yeah, no, it's not really my thing. I didn't really like Chris Cornell until he was an Audio Slave. And then I was like, dude, this is badass. And then now I go back and I'll listen to some Soundgarden and I like it, you know? So, but yes, it's kind of the same thing for me with, I don't know what his name is, the guy that sings for Alter Bridge. So Alter Bridge is Creed just with a different singer. And so I was kind of listening to it, and you know, I see all the Creed stuff on like Instagram or something or just whatever, and I just was like, nah, I don't want to. I'm good. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And then finally, I was just like, you know what? Whatever. Okay, so I downloaded their greatest hits. You know, I'm not sure when it came out, but and I'm listening to it. Like I put it on as I'm doing some chores or picking up the kitchen or something, and I'm just, it's like I know all the words to like every song, not all of them, but most of them, just from hearing them on the radio or in bars or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like I know all the words and I can sing along to it, and I'm just like, this is nuts. I'm just like singing along and I'm enjoying it. But the other thing is like My Sacrifice, right? So I'm listening it again, but through a Catholic perspective. And I guess, you know, the song was written about his struggles with, you know, substance abuse and some, you know, past love and stuff like that. But the way he wrote it, it's very like, man, if you just kind of, if you imagine the song and put Jesus in it, like it's to Jesus or whatever, I don't know. It's like, whoa, okay, this kind of hits a little different. But and then I'm just kind of listening to some other songs and I'm like kind of singing along and I'm kind of like getting emotional and I'm like doing the dishes and I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I don't know, it's like I'm loving it, you know? So it's like, man, why did I hate Creed so much? So I don't know. I mean, I'm at the very beginning, so it's like I'm very anti greatest hits, but that's when I'm checking out bands like Creed or something. That's all I'll do is I'll get the greatest hits and give it a chance, and then I'll start getting the albums and listening to them like how they were released and stuff like that. You know, so that's what I'll do. You know, I don't know. I just kind of I thought it was kind of funny. Do anybody out there, are you a Creed fan? Do you have a similar story? Do you hate Creed? I don't know. I know they're popular. They're very popular. They were back in the day when they were. When did they break up? Let me see. I'm gonna look that up real quick. So okay, so this greatest hits. I'll close that. Hold on. I don't know. So let's see. Okay. So this 2004. Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that old. Their greatest hits. Yeah, soon after the mouse. Oh, they broke up right after. So that's when they broke up. 2004. They reunited in 2009. Okay, then what's? But so I know like they got back together in the last 2 years or something like that. So yeah, Creed. What album is this? Weathered came out 2001. It doesn't seem like it's that long ago. It seemed like, man. So it's like they kind of the whole thing was 20 years ago when they were all the first time they were together, and that's kind of crazy. Formed in '94. Okay, I didn't realize they have been around that long. Human Clay was '99. So that's when yeah, and that's when they got big, which had My Own Prison, and which is all right. Higher, see it with arms wide open. I get that song stuck in my head all the time. Oh, but they hold on. So '97. Oh no, this was okay. I recognize this album cover. I don't know if you can see it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks again for listening to The Objective Jerk. I greatly appreciate it. If you could like, subscribe, comment on wherever you're finding this, and you can also email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. So hope you're enjoying it, and please continue on with the episode. Turn the phone. See that? I remember this album cover. This came out in '97. My Own Prison. What's this life? One's a cool song. That's on the greatest hits. Man, so yeah, I didn't realize they 97, dude. That was just not long after I graduated high school. All right, I was thinking they came out in the 2000s and stuff, and I was thinking that they stopped playing in around 2010 or something like that. But anyway, yeah, so I'm kind of happy that I have a band that loving that's been around and has a catalog, and so now it's like, yeah, because I've been always kind of searching. I don't know, it's just like ever since I noticed things I've talked about before with like film. I hear my fan. Hold on, I need to turn my fan. I can hear the fan blowing on the microphone a little bit. So, oh, it's still there, huh? Like it's got the silencing, the canceling. I gotta turn it off. I hate when I'll do a podcast and then I'll listen to it afterward and I just hear like some kind of weird noise. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gotta be annoying for people. It's like that's why you don't have many listeners, because I need to get a padded room. Not because I'm crazy, but Anyway, so I've been since I've been I'm not reborn. I'm a Catholic, but I've been baptized. I focus on Christian things, and I read the Bible, and I try to be good. And I go to mass every week. Something I gotta go this week. My wife was out of town, so we didn't get to go on. But I noticed things though with film and everything. Even like some of my. I can't think of a film that I grew up and loved. I think I don't really watch movies too much, and I have a bunch. I collect movies. I used to be a big film buff, and I'm kind of afraid to like. I want my kids. I think my oldest has seen like Fight Club. I'm seeing it right now. That's why I'm thinking about it. And my other son, like he talks about it because he sees memes and whatever, and he's like, "Oh, do we have Fight Club?" And so and I'm like, "Gosh, man, but is it?" I'm trying to remember. I know it was like a anti-establishment, and monopoly, and the big companies kind of film, and just about all the crap. So I think it's fine, but I'm kind of afraid to watch something like that and just be like, yeah, this ain't jiving with me anymore. Things that I used to just love and be a fan of was the liberal mindset, and now I'm just like. But like I said, like old movies that like used to be favorites, I haven't like Back to the Future or something, or Inglorious Bastards. There's nothing in there that I can think of right now. So I'm good. But like, I think I talked about it before. I was watching a movie that's pretty popular that I had never watched. Oh, crap, I can't even think of what it's called. I probably said the same thing. Oh, this is this movie. I don't know what it is, but what was it? Like the King's Gentleman or something like that. King's Gentleman. Oh, is that it? Am I right? Kingsman. Okay. It's Kingsman, the Secret Service. There it is. Okay, so this movie was pretty popular, I guess. And I just never watched it, just I don't know. And then it's on, or was on Netflix, and so I started watching it. And then there was a scene where he's in it's like a Baptist church or some, why do I always forget this? You have Catholic and you have Protestant. There we go. I always forget the word Protestant for some dang reason. Anyway, so it looks like it's at some kind of Southern Baptist, or I don't know, it's a Protestant type church, and it just shows the people there being just redneck, racist, whatever, and it was just like, and that is so common in film and stuff, and I never noticed it that much because I was a liberal, and it didn't, I, I don't know, I never thought of myself, or I mean, I never thought of myself as anything really. But looking back, I wasn't an atheist. I was agnostic. I always kind of felt like there was something, but I just didn't know, and whatever. I didn't try and look for it, or. But so yeah, so this movie, like, I turned it off. Like I was like, dude, whatever. And it's just so I am noticing these things, and so then I notice it when like there's a band and it has like a message, and then I'm hearing something that's very pro faith, Christianity, Jesus, or something like that. And they don't have to go out and say it. I like it when it's, like the My Sacrifice song is a great song because you could take it multitude of ways. And for me, I took it as like somebody who kind of maybe used to be strong or was very faithful, excuse me, believed in Jesus and all that stuff, and then kind of went astray and whatever, and then it's coming back to Jesus or something. Like that's kind of how I interpret it, and I know that's not what it was written, but the way they write it, it's all up for interpretation, which is, I think, which makes a great song. And then you could have, some crazy liberals that look at it differently, and but whatever. Yeah, so it's just, kind of music wise, it's like I'm forcing myself to listen to stuff. I'm trying to find, like I listen to Metallica a lot just at the gym because the pace and the the timing and everything just kind of, I don't know. And and then I don't know, when I'm at home I just kind of, like lately I have been kind of listening to some 90s more, like I have the Singles soundtrack. I don't know if you listened to that. I loved that movie because that was right around the time, I was a teenager and Singles movie comes out, and oh look, there's Pearl Jam in the movie, and it was a big thing for, and I had the soundtrack. It's still pretty good. But yeah, that's kind of, I think somebody's here. It's probably my son. Looks like my son and some friends. Why are they bringing friends over? I got a little camera there. What the crap? Oh no, it's okay. There he is. Anyway, where am I at? 22. Okay. So the point is, I'm like I'm happy that I have found Creed the way that I did. I don't know. I just gave it a chance, and it's like the music is great, and it's like it seems like I know all the songs. I mean, I don't know them all. These are all like the hits, so of course, I heard them from the radio. Man, okay, just hold on. I'm almost done. I thought I locked it.
With JB.
Yeah, I saw it. I got the camera right here. Didn't lock the door. Anyway. But yeah, so it's like, and it was just, man, it was hitting me in the heartstrings, and the music. I've always recognized the fact that the music was good. They could play. It was just the singer that just kind of, I was like, I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of crazy. I'm enjoying it a lot. I kind of hope that they come to the Philippines, man. Take my son, because he's into that kind of music. The Smashing Pumpkins are coming here to Manila next month, I think. I don't remember if I went to see the Smashing Pumpkins. I went to a lot of shows and a lot of concerts, and sometimes I'll be like, "Oh crap, I did see them. I remember that." Like it's crazy how, man, I don't know. Like a lot of people go to shows and they're like, "Oh man, I saw Nirvana, and I got that memory of seeing Nirvana, and so that's kind of cool." I never saw Nirvana, but it's like I've seen many other bands, and then sometimes I forget that I even seen them. Not because I was like wasted or anything. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of all the same. Like I don't know. Like I enjoyed going to see bands live, but I don't. It's not like I have to go and see them. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I would kind of like to bring my son to experience that. So it's like I'm kind of debating on going to see the Smashing Pumpkins because he likes some of their older stuff. Go see them in Manila. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I should look and see what bands are coming to Manila. Maybe Creed will come. I know bands do come, not too often, But anyway, that's it. Do you like Creed? Is there anybody that's liked them from the beginning? You got your little story about Creed? Let me know. Also, so I had a couple comments that was cool. I give him like a little thumbs up, but like one guy, had some stuff to say and just a basic, hey, this is cool. I like what you said, this and that. You should do this or whatever. But it's like if you're like, dude, I like this dude, but he needs to do this or something. Send me an email. Just be like, bro, dude, I like your podcast, but I think you need to do this or you should do this. Yeah, theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Hit me up. That's kind of what and if somebody wants my opinion on stuff, or I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big opinionated guy, but I can find an opinion on something, I guess. I don't know, but that's kind of it. I just wanted to, talk about something a little less dreadful. And I was just kind of jamming out to Creed while I was doing some stuff and was like kind of wanted to talk about it. So anyway, let me know what you think. Appreciate your time. Hope everybody's doing well and God bless. Bye. You just put yourself through another episode of The Objective Jerk. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Please email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment, wherever you find this, follow. It all helps. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.